good performance tonight against a good VCU team from the Atlantic 10. Their coach has some IU ties. I want to thank their staff for coming out here. And the unique part about men's soccer is having these non-conference games in the middle of your conference slate. And we scheduled this game because they do have a different style, one that we might face. Playing a little bit different some of the Big Ten teams, so we thought it'd be important for us. Obviously, if you're putting the resume together for postseason, they're having a very good year, and this win will help us a lot. But as much of that, it's just a different style to make sure we're ready for anything we might face come postseason. Great performances. I thought our seniors, it was great to, one, get them all in the field, and Spencer with the serve he had tonight to set up Sammy. But really getting Sam 2 goals was a big moment tonight for us. He's been up and down the last 6-7 games. He started really bright. He's playing well in training, and we thought tonight would be a game to hopefully get him rolling, and he played really well outside his 2 goals. And it was a really sharp performance from the whole group. To give a team of VCU's quality, very few, I think it was 1 shot, but just even like not many dangerous attacks says a lot. Now they took a couple of their key guys out in the second half to get them kind of ready for their 8-10 game, but they have quality, and that says a lot for our team defending. It says a lot for our back line itself, and then Roman was in full control tonight of every situation. So that's what we want this time of year, playing like that, and heading into postseason play is what you're hoping as a coach and a team.
Questions for Coach?
Yeah, VCU came into this game tonight with one of the better defensive records in the A10, and you guys put 4 goals past them. How does that feel for this team to produce offensively in the way that they did?
Great. We created some other really good chances. So I think dangerous chances, dangerous attacks, and then you throw in the final product. But I thought Vic could have had a couple more. There was a couple of blocks. It was some really good attacks, and so it wasn't just like 4 and we got 5 chances. There's been games like that where you're kind of clinical on your chances. This was a lot of good chances for us tonight. So yeah, VCU's a quality side. So we'll take that as a real positive step for us. As we kind of begin fine-tune our attack, I think it's getting better each week. And tonight was a good illustration.
Speaking of Spencer, you kept that photo up from 2019 with Spencer Glass in the locker room. Tonight was his true senior night. Why did you choose to keep that picture up?
Well, Spencer's been a really important player for our program, and the way he was able to support the team last year, and one of the most difficult years any kid could have, dealing with the COVID in the season and his own personal setback with the broken leg, he was phenomenal. The whole entire NCAA run, he was right with the team, encouraging them and leading and supporting. He's a great teammate. So I felt it was important to keep that picture up because it was, a great title that we won on the road, and him being a key fixture to that. And he's also just a good example of a player that, came in and was obviously heralded, but took some time to find his way and redshirted, kind of supported Andrew Gutman, and then became the starter. And that's the story that the other young players need to know. It may not be an instant, but if you wait and you continue to develop, then obviously he's an All-American. He's got opportunities at the next level. There's all kinds of things coming Spencer Glass's way, and then obviously to see him perform and come back from his injury is great. So we'll keep that up, and hopefully we'll have another great celebration picture to add this offseason.
How pleased were you with how you guys came out tonight, especially after being a little stagnant on Sunday at the start?
Great. We were a bit stagnant. A little bit of Wisconsin's, tempo was part of that in the way they play. But yeah, it was great, and we knew they would, try to build and take a couple risks in the back, and if we could pluck them and get some chances off that, it could really get our attack going, and that's exactly what happened. If they break you, though, you're in 1v1 in the back, and you got to have great principles. And luckily, we weren't put in that situation. When we were, all of our backs were fantastic and didn't really allow them great chances. So great start, good early goal. Goals change games, as we always say. It changes the temperature of the game. It changes everything. And tonight, it was like we could feel it from the beginning. It was good all night.
Thank you.
Your presses looked good as it did today as it did all season. You ball behind the field a lot. What was the key to kind of be really successful in that energy high on the field?
Well, I mean, it starts with, I thought Victor worked extremely hard. Sammy's just a tireless worker, and it was one of the reasons we inserted him tonight, because we knew he could create a lot of havoc in that press. And Maloon does a good job of that as well. So does Wardo. So he's not exclusive, but we thought this would be a perfect game for Sammy to help us, and then hopefully get a goal or two, and it played out really well. And there's a lot of it's your second and your third defending spacing, and I thought we were really good about reading spaces, reading cues, reading the pressure lines, and being there on most seconds. And I thought that was the big difference. When they did finally play forward, we were really in a good spot to win the second. They were pretty expansive, so our seconds were good, and we could go and play. But that does start with your front line. Call it your front four, in this case, or front two. And then from there, it's everyone else in good support shape.
Anything else?
You earlier in the season you struggled. Now you're surging. How much is it easier to draw when you've had past success as a program to pick it up later in the season than maybe a team that hasn't in the
Yeah,
past?
I mean, we have a lot of kids in this team, and obviously that have had success. So you can always rely on that and feed off that. That's why the program continues to win games. I feel is that is a belief in the team, and they've had success. They show the rest of the guys small details what come about, and we've had some really lively trainings. We've gotten after the group. We're playing well, but there's a lot of little things, and the edge that we're training with, the video detail that the guys are getting into is really good. And I wouldn't say it's always kumbaya. It's like, no, that needs to be better for us to be in a better spot, or we might get hit in that game if we don't cover here or in the right spot. So they're locked in. This is the best time of the year, heading into conference play, tournament, in a week, and hopefully the NCAA's, we let that happen once conference stuff happens. So get there when we get there.
Anything else for Coach?
You see a lot across all sports where your team looks ahead to the next big game on the schedule, which is Sunday at Maryland. But how impressed were you with your team tonight to keep the foot on the gas against a good VCU team?
We did. It was a staff. We talked about that. This morning we met. We did some final video work, and I talked about the results last night. We talked about what was in front of us on Sunday, and I said, okay, that's the last. We'll talk about the Big Ten today. And they're in the locker room now, enjoying some music and some dancing, and then tomorrow we'll get right into Maryland. But I made it very clear to them that we're not talking about the Maryland game after that 5-minute talk about what the weekend's all about. And they were locked in. And I think it helped that it was, the senior night, and helped them focus on what we wanted to do. And obviously it's a good opponent. So if it was an opponent maybe that's struggling this year, maybe more difficult, more of a trap situation, I would have liked to still think we would have handled it well. But I think all that in play, I think they did. They handled it really good. And it's a really excited locker room for, the challenge on Sunday is there's as tough a place to play as Maryland. But those are that's what's fun about it. Go have an opportunity to go win a title against a really good team that, historically has been one of the better programs. A lot of respect for them. So that's what you want.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.